Hey guys, real quick, before the episode gets started, I just want to put this out there. Gareth and I were recording the kind of recap for 2023 of the annual Rarity event, and we were having some internet issues, some issues with the program we used to record, and so there's a little bit of popping on his track. There's nothing I could do about it. I tried my hardest to kind of clean it up, edit it, whatever, but that's just the way that it recorded due to, I guess, we're recording across the pond. So just kind of want to put that out there, guys. Thank you so much for supporting us or listening to this. Sorry the episode is late, but I've been kind of playing around with the track, trying to make it sound as good as possible. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to kick right back over into the episode. Enjoy.
I feel the minutes count down on the clock again. Feel like I'm playing in a game that I can never win. Time is running out, I know I gotta make a choice. So many whispers in my ear that I can't hear my voice. Tell me, will it end the situation that I'm in? Or am I bound to sit alone, drowning in my sins? Get right or get left, what will it be? Time is running out, the blood is flowing down the streets. People need to know we're living in a war zone.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Resident Daryl, and today I am joined by my good friend, Gaz Davis. What's up, man?
Really, really good, Daryl. Thanks for having me on again. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. Yeah, awesome. Good. That's much better. So for those of you guys who are listening, Gareth and I had a little bit of I'm going to blame the internet. I think the internet's not doing so well this morning, connecting across the world. So, hey, had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we made it. It is good to have you on. I'm super excited when we get to do this, and I'm very excited for the kind of year-end review of the annual Rarity contest. That big first hoorah doing this. I'm interested to see what you like, what you dislike, what you learned, and then now that you've already kicked off the next one, kind of where we're at with it. So definitely super excited. But before we do that, Gaz, all right, we're going to toast to the patrons. All right, thank you guys so much for sticking with us. We've got some new content that just dropped last week on the Patreon. We got more content dropping this week on the Patreon. So I'm going to give a shout out to our producers. We got Matt G, we got MZ, Nitro, we got JT, the Commish, and Sadik. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Resident Daryl YouTube channel. We are getting closer and closer. We're about 600 subs now. So we're getting closer to our goal of 1,000. So, all right. I know, Gaz, we don't have a ton of time this morning, so let's kind of start things off with what you've been playing, man. What you've been getting into for the past couple weeks.
Okay, so I'll start it from we're a week. Well, New Year's Day was a week, wasn't it? Yeah, a week.
Roughly,
New Year's Day was a week. So look back on that. So New Year's Day played. I'm actually really close now to the Platinum Trophy on Star Wars Angry Birds. It's a game that I started like maybe in 2014, 2013 or something, and I had no intention of ever really sort of much just a pick up and play game really to pass the time. And I didn't play it for years after sort of I first bought it, and went back to it because I saw that I had a couple of quite relatively easy trophies missing, so just trying to sort of get that completion rate up. And as I wore on, continued playing it, I realised actually I think I could probably get the plat on this. So I've done all the missions, completed all the worlds, and I've left myself one trophy left, which is just a multiplayer trophy. But when I say multiplayer, it's not an online multiplayer. It can be done locally, just with two controllers, and that'll probably take about half an hour to do that, which is just to obtain all the power ups in that. And I'm saving that one for the GTTSC contest for this year, which because it's a nice scoring platinum. That one, it's an ultra rare, so keeping that one back. Continuing with the campaign on Art of Rally, I think I spoke about that last time we were on, which is obviously almost like an isometric racing game. It's a little bit in the style of Mantis Burn Racing, if anybody has played that, but it's quite in depth. It's based on it's got real cars, real life locations, and it basically follows. You do a season. Each season is a year, so it starts from when rally driving first started. I think like in the 60s or 70s, and then it's the early part of it is you just do like one season might just be one rally of 6 stages, and then you finish that year 1968, for example, and then you go on to the next year 1969, and every year you pass, the car's technology improves as it did over time in reality. So you start driving faster cars, you start having different sort of drifting as it comes into play, you have better braking, tracks become a bit more tricky. So it's a really good idea, concept for what they're doing. So I'm working my way through that as well at the moment. Then 3 games really that I've touched on. One I've been playing the last couple of days, and it's more been about boosting than playing, I suppose, which is First Class Trouble, which was a game. I know that I think you
I played that. That was a good one.
Yeah, so I've been doing that with friend of the show, MZ Nitro, and a couple of other guys who's in our Trophy Hunters League Discord group. And we've been doing that the last couple of nights, just trying to get the trophies because they're all boostable. And I'm 2 trophies away from the platinum in that one as well. So that'll... It's much better done in boosting than I've been trying this morning just to do get the last 2 trophies in public matches. The last 2 that I need is to play 10 rounds in the gardens and 10 rounds in the personoid quarters. The problem that you've got is when you're playing in a public, you get 3 venues or 3 locations to vote on to try and obviously you need the majority to vote in the one you've done. Probably about 6 or 7 times I've got through to that stage in a public match this morning. Only once has everybody voted for where I would need to go. We've ended up voting for a different area, which isn't trophy related at all. So that's been quite frustrating. So it might just take either one more little boosting session, or it will take a longer time doing it in public matches. As you know, I picked up a PlayStation Portal over the Christmas period, and I was pretty skeptical about getting one in the first place when they were first announced. But I have to say, I'm really, really impressed with what they do, how they are in terms of the connectivity, and there is very little input lag, albeit I'm only playing it I've only played it in my home. I did take it to my parents' house, which is about 6-7 miles away, and it did work fine. It did work okay, but I didn't really have time to give it a proper go on it. But on the Portal, I've been playing a game called Lego Builder's Journey, which is a really chilled game. It's not a long game, but it's perfect for when you just want to sort of lie in bed and chill and just have something to occupy yourself rather than trash TV, with the wife.
Yeah.
So I've been, and so what I'm finding, so I've been playing that, and I'm almost like, I'm 31% of the trophies, and you could probably knock this out in 2 to 3 hours quite easily. But I don't play it when I've got my PS5 open. I won't play it on my PS5 because I've almost separated my games out between what I want to play on the PS5, the main TV, and then what I want to play on the Portal. And I don't need to use the Portal for multiplayer or fast-paced games. There's enough games that I've got or interested in that I'm going to be able to use the Portal for and not suffer any consequences if I do, get any input lag or whatever, or the connection isn't great. So I've just been using the Portal just to do that one, and then a game I started yesterday, which is a game that's on PS Plus Extra, called Cursed to Golf, and it's a slightly different take on the golf genre, but it's quite a lot of fun. You play as a golfer who has been struck by lightning on the 18th hole of the championship and is now caught between life and death and the aftermath, and basically in golf purgatory. So the only way you can get back to life is by completing an 18-hole course which is obviously, as you can imagine, not on grass or sort of, it's, reeved in obstacles and,
right.
It's, you have to hit sort of trophies to increase the number of shots you get, because some of the shots can take anywhere between sort of 10 and 30 shots to get from the tee to the hole. But you can increase, but there are power-ups that you can use. There are, as I said, trophies or ornaments you can hit which increase the number of shots that you get. So if you hit a silver one and you increase your number of shots by 2, if you hit the gold one, you can increase it by 4. If you run out of shots, so you could be on whatever hole it is, you've got to finish 18 holes. Each hole is separate, and if you run out of shots, you start with 5 at the start. If you run out, that's your round over and you have to start again. So if you run out of shots on hole 17, for example, that's it. You're back to hole 1. So it could be a long grind. It could be multiple, but I think you can, reading about the trophy guide, you can sort of have a backup save and quit out before it sort of, if it looks like you're not going to achieve it, quit out to the main menu and then you start that hole again. So there are ways to beat the system on that, but yeah, it's quite an interesting take, and it looks like it could be quite addictive, quite a lot of fun, and yeah, that's me wrapped up what I've been playing this week.
Excellent. So it almost sounds like a golfing roguelike.
It is. Yeah, it's exactly like that, basically. Yeah, the holes are all different. Cool. They're never the same either. So when you go back to the first hole, it's not like you can think, well, I remember what I did on the last one, because the first hole might be completely different.
Gotcha. Excellent. Awesome. Well, I don't have too much to add to the conversation today. As of the last couple episodes of the Loot Bros podcast and the Patreon content I did, I haven't played anything really different, with the exception of I'm playing a little bit of Vanquish on the PS3.
Yeah.
I've beaten it on the PS4, but I have never completed it on PS3. And I believe I beat it a long time ago, or played it a long time ago on Xbox 360. So amazing game. Absolutely. I think it's so awesome, so fun. But then I've been playing Exoprimal with my kids.
Yeah, how's that then? Because I heard you talk about that in the last episode.
It's good. My son has been playing it a lot without us, and he said that the story of what's going on is essentially it's an AI that has become sentient and has decided that it was going to kind of break itself free and kind of kill everybody, take over. And essentially what you do is you log into a simulation as like Army Marine-ish, soldiers with these exosuits, and you're trying to, the simulation, the AI is dropping in these hordes and hordes of dinosaurs. And it is learning your combat techniques, how you overcome situations and things of that nature. And it's essentially, kind of like, I'll just keep throwing you in these simulations and I'll learn everything about you. And then when you try to actually fight me, destroy me and my soldiers, I will know how to beat you and I'll know everything about how humans fight. So it's interesting. The way I will say this, it's fun to play. I don't know that it's fun to play by yourself. My son is enjoying it, but he loves these drop-in multiplayer, extraction objective games. Sometimes you're doing so Gareth, the way it works is it's PvE VP. So you're fighting against the environment, against the AI, and waves and waves and waves of dinosaurs, which is fun. But then tangentially to that, you're seeing like a red outline of the team that you're competing against. And then when you get to the end objectives, you compete against each other. So that might be deathmatch. That might be an escort mission where you escort like this data cube to the end. It might be that you're fighting like your team A and team B. It's like, you have 3 objectives, 3 major dinosaurs you have to take down in the middle of these hordes. Whoever does it faster wins. So it's fun. It's interesting. I enjoy playing it with my kids, and I think that's where I will solely play the game.
Yeah.
The trophies are very grindy, which is good because that'll be something that like we'll do over time. But the thing about it that I think that Capcom needs to get a little bit of credit for is because there's some negatives. I'm gonna drop some negatives here in a minute, but like the game that plays well, like, it is fun to play, and it's a shooter. It's an online shooter, so it's like it's good. Like the connectivity and the actual moment to moment gameplay is fun. There's multiple different mechs or exosuits rather, and each one has different abilities. And even if you're playing the same class, let's say you're playing a healer class, which is what I play, each one plays very different from each other, and you unlock tons of them. There's a skill tree that you can upgrade your stuff, and there's tons of cosmetics, and it's interesting. And in 10 days they're doing a Monster Hunter crossover, so there'll be a Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Dinosaurs, and Monster Hunter Armor and stuff. So
okay,
I'm pretty interested to see how that's going to look. So it's been cool so far. As far as the negatives go, the UI is so cluttered. There's so much going on, and I got to be honest. Sometimes I don't know like what I'm looking at. Like, there's not like a direct like here's the story part A, part B, part C, like where you're going next. Like there's always this one little square that you can click on that's like where you can essentially quick play. And in between certain missions, you'll have like a cutscene that progresses the story. So from my understanding, as we're playing, it's like you play a certain amount of missions and then you unlock the next story beat. And then you play a certain amount of missions and you unlock the next story beat. And then there's this section you can go into in one of the menus where it's almost like a data wheel. And if you click on it, it seems to me like it's progressing options for the story, but I don't really know. So that's a little ugly. And then there's a ton of it navigates like Destiny, almost like a PC kind of Corsair for like the menu. And that's annoying because sometimes I don't like the way that feels, and B, sometimes like you'll do like you'll say, I want to upgrade this and this, and then you'll go to change the menu and it X's you out, and then you got to do it over. So also a lot of the perks and power-ups sound the same or read the same. So it's like, what am I actually changing and what does it benefit me? So some of that stuff seems a little bit more complicated and busy than it needs to be. But as for jumping in the game and then just playing, it's fun. And I'm playing with my kids, so that's fun. So we'll just, right now we're enjoying it. It is, it's got some flaws for sure. And who knows what the, you never know, like this Monster Hunter update they might do some, some quality of life changes on the UI as well. I don't know. And I don't know how the crossovers work. So this could be really great. It could be really bad, or it could be like unaccessible. So
yeah. It's it wasn't a game when it was first revealed. I was kind of like take it or leave it, to be honest with you. When I saw it,
right.
Yeah, I was. But it's one of them also. Because I either try or buy everything anyway. It's like eventually I'd probably still end up picking it up, and whether I play it or not is another matter. But it's but probably would give it a go. I think I looked at it and I thought I saw all those dinosaurs falling out the sky, and I thought, is this the sort of game that I would typically play? And it's probably not. But having said that, it's a shooter, so
Right. Well, I'll say this. I think that this game will end up on Plus at some point in time.
Yeah.
So I would say if you're not interested in shooting waves of dinosaurs immediately, then just wait.
Yeah.
I picked it up on sale, and right now we're very happy with our purchase. But I was looking for something to play with my kids. I know that this is the type of game that they want to play. They don't want to play long story-based games. They don't want to play multiplayer games like I like. So this fit their interest, and therefore I was willing to invest in it. So
well, that's ideal, then, isn't it? That's what you want, and that's kids today, isn't it? That's why Fortnite's so popular. And
right. And that's kind of how this is. You drop in, it's instant gratification. There's a lot going on. And, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's chill until the very end, but like you can just enjoy running around, killing dinosaurs, doing your thing. But what you see is the outline of the other team. And you have the AI saying the enemy team is completing objectives faster than you. So it puts pressure on you to like move quicker and work together. And so that's pretty interesting. And it works for the kids. It definitely works for their type of, that type of gamer these days. So
yeah,
like I said, I'm in for it. We'll see. I'll continue to give honest feedback on it. And, it also strikes me as the type of game that could get boring way before the grind is done. Yeah. So if they don't keep the seasons interesting, it's a possibility we will never platinum this game. But the trophies so far seem pretty doable. You just got to play a lot. So as long as
it's not bad to have one of those games on the go in the background anyway, is it?
Right. And that's the thing. And this is one of those games that I think right now, if I'm playing it now casually, when it comes GTTSC time, these trophies will start popping, and we'll see what they're worth. I'm hoping it goes to Plus, really, because it was a Game Pass game.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
Yes. So I'm hoping it goes to Plus eventually. And I'm wondering if maybe around a big season or content drop, it'll go over there. So as soon as they announced the Monster Hunter thing, they whatchamacallit, it went on sale. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, because you'd bought it and then the day after it went on sale or something. Yeah. So yeah. Is there anything else you've been playing as well?
That, and I've been playing a little bit of Earth Defense Force on the Vita. That's pretty much me. Nothing crazy. Haven't been really getting into too much. So, what I want to do, Gareth, and I don't know, we haven't talked about this beforehand. Did you have like a big breakdown or a big plan that you wanted to go down, almost like a year-end write up?
Obviously I did the write up anyway for the year end, and I kind of almost started it as doing a weekly, almost like the same style as what I've done the weekly. And you probably, if you'd read it, it sort of kind of changed a third of the way through, and it was almost like talking about how people have performed at various points in the year. So obviously, when I first set this up last year, I hadn't anticipated necessarily doing that. So, for example, this year, what I'm doing is, with the number of stats that I'm keeping, I'm keeping track of notable things that would be worth talking about at the end of the year, where sort of, how people have performed at certain parts, whether there was a surge at some point in the year where they sort of either dipped or sort of picked up. So I haven't sort of got the stats based on that for the 2023. However, I can talk about from what I remember and what I've got in my head about where people are, which is fairly comprehensive, to be honest with you, because I've got a pretty good, having looked at this sheet for every week for a year.
Yeah.
Sort of where everyone has been and what they've done and how it sort of the table changed over the course of the year. And then once we've done that, we can go into rarest trophies.
Cool. Well, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to let you kind of do your recap.
Yeah.
And you have the floor, and just kind of rock and roll.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So obviously, for these audio updates that we've done in the past, I've typically started at the bottom of the table, so I won't deviate from that for this end of year recap. So, but in finishing, this is obviously all finished now, 2023, all done and dusted. So, finishing in last place, where he had remained all season long, is One Plat Zach, the Bearded Nerds, as known by the spreadsheet. He had 14 points. I don't think he played PlayStation. I think his rarest trophy of the whole year was in Slay the Spire, which was a 35.31% rarity. I think that he earned the trophy back in July, so his biggest increase was in uncommon trophies. It's a 6. If you're not put it on the PlayStation, you're obviously not going to score, are you? So he's ended up sort of main playing on PC and Xbox, but finished rock bottom. Kalai finished in 6th place. She had 77 points and increased that tally by 3 in a week. Again, this was her rarest trophy, albeit rarer than Zach's at 9.6%. She was playing less towards the end of the year, which gained her a few points increase, but so she finished on 77 points. At 25th place was a new entrant into the season, probably halfway through, maybe even slightly later than that, which was Big Bernadob. And he is in the 2024 edition as well, same as Kalai, albeit he hasn't earned a trophy since December, I thought, back end of November. He did make it into the rarest trophies of the week once, and that was his rarest trophy of all, and that was in Stranded Deep, which was the platinum trophy on that. So he finished on 229 points, which was 5 legacy points in that final week. In 24th was Tross, and Tross had 270, so he was good 50-odd points ahead of Big Bernadob. His rarest trophy was in Burn It All in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel at 7.54%. 23rd place, I didn't even realise that this Darth Knight was actually David Bray within the trophy looting group, so until just before we kicked off the 2024 edition of this rarity event. But he finished on 289 points, so 16 points ahead of Tross. He started playing the new Ark survival game, Descended. That was his rarest trophy of the week, the final week. His rarest trophy of the competition overall was also the Stay Alive trophy, which is the platinum trophy in Stranded Deep. Obviously, a couple of them there when that Stranded Deep glitch was going on. 22nd place was Departed 570. He had his after his name change sort of debacle, he changing it, then reverting back. Eventually, he finished on 305 points, a 9-point increase in the week. His rarest trophy is probably a little bit misleading because it's Spider-Man 2, but as you probably aware, I keep mentioning it, he plays the brand new releases a lot of the time, and that trophy would have become more common over time, but it was a home run one, which was at the time when he achieved it was 7.93%. That'll be significantly higher at this stage now. Unfortunately, I didn't keep his previously rare, which is something I'll learn from. In 21st place is Jared Stink Palm. He had 16 increase in the week, taking him to a total of 494 points. Rarest trophy was an ultra rare in Fall Guys, which was called Trackstar. His rarest of the week was the Ends in American Hero, 32.35. He was 10 points behind Sadak. Sadak had a 4-point increase thanks to legacy trophies, taking him to 594 points. I'd say 10 points. It was 100 points, 594 to 494. His rarest trophy was in Nidhogg 2 at 362. It's ultra rare there. Unfortunately, Sadak isn't. I think he's finished. He's not playing on the PlayStation, so he isn't in the 2024 competition. He hadn't earned a trophy since September, which is a shame. But nevertheless, he still did well to finish in 20th, despite not playing for nearly a third of the year. 19th place was the Commish JT. Rarest trophy, again, that would have increased over time, but at the time that he earned it was a 2.28%, and that was in Hogwarts Legacy. 630 overall, 13-point increase in without scoring a trophy. Again, another person who's decided not to continue due to other game commitments on other platforms. And he also did win. Congratulations to JT actually as well, because he did end up winning the gift card for getting a 35-day streak. He was the only one that was able to do that. And obviously, rather than a PSN, I did give him the option of choosing a Steam one, which he did take in the end. So that was JT finishing in 19th. The 18th was Riley. Riley also didn't earn a trophy that week. There was probably the highest number of people not earning trophies, but that's understandable given people's commitments over the Christmas and New Year period anyway. But he had 671 final points, a 9-point increase in the week, and his rarest trophy of the year was Cosmic Completionist in Borderlands, the pre-sequel, at 5.15%. Homer gets duffed, so he had one of his strongest weeks. So Homer typically scored around sort of anywhere between 10 and 20 points usually in a week, and then he would chuck in several weeks of sort of 50, 60, 70 points, which have really aided his score. He had 910 points. He finished with 69 in the week, and his rarest trophy literally came in the final of the and for the platinum in Dice, the amount of platinum there to get, and obviously that would have boosted his score significantly. That's 1.78, so 10 points for the trophy. When 16th place is California Wayne, so we're getting into the people who now have made it into four figures. He was another person who joined the competition late. 1,087 points in total, 62 for the week. And again, it's another one who earned their rarest trophy of the year in the final week. He earned his for Cryptozoologist in GTA 5 at 2.2%. They were actually, Homer's and Wayne's were the two rarest trophies of the week as well. So he, as I said, he finished on 1,087 points. Couldn't quite catch Tricky, who finished in 15th. Tricky, finished in 15th, didn't quite make it to the fifth spot. He thought he would do it in the early part of the year. I think genuinely thought he would have not. I don't know, it's open debate, but I think there was enough opposition to those claims to suggest it wasn't an unrealistic idea of his. But he finished on 1,193 point spot, a 30-point increase in the final week, and his rare trophy. It's interesting. So he would have been. So he didn't actually increase his. Well, he increased his ultra rares by 3, but that would be another ultra rares becoming rarer. Very rares becoming ultra rares. But he didn't actually an ultra rare last year, so maybe an aiming goal for him to go for this year. Dupes finished in 14th place after sort of much promise in the early part of the year. He'd started off really well in the top 3 quite a while. He would be up and down because of the decay he used to have, and by playing new games. So he would score high, and then he would have quite a significant drop the following week if he wasn't able to sort of maintain those scoring levels. And obviously that hindered his progress in the league. But he did a good week. He scored 63 points, leaving him 1,521 points overall. So it's a sizable gap between him and Tricky. It's part of, 300 points and 30 points difference between the two. His rarest trophy of the week was in COD Modern Warfare 3, but his rarest trophy overall was in Octopath Traveler, and at 5.87%. Mr. TMNT, so Joseph Priestley, managed his highest scoring week of the whole competition. In the final week, he had 101 points. which is a really good effort, and it was the third highest score of the week. That moved him above Dupe, and he ended up with 1,564 points. His rarest trophy of the year was Watch Me Work in NBA 2K23, which was a 2.67% rarity, so an ultra rare there. So, phone calling. In 12th place was MZ Nitro. MZ Nitro had 43 points overall. 43 points for the week, 1,607 overall. His rarest trophy was a very good one in D, which was the Platinum Trophy in Deep Rock Galactic. Which was a 0.68% or 0.65%.
Gotta love those rare platinums.
Yeah, so I was getting myself. Right, okay. So I was getting myself mixed up. I was sure that Nitro had platinumed it last year, and he done. It must be. But I remember seeing a post yesterday from him in Deep Rock Galactic, and that must be DLC that he achieved that trophy.
Yeah. So, I'm pretty positive he platinumed it in 2023.
Yeah, that's right. I've just checked, and I can see that he did platinum that. So, it must have been DLC he got yesterday or the day before. So he's back to 100% on that now. So Nitro finishing well in 12th spot. In 11th spot was Corey, the Grounded Gamer, and he had 23 points in that final week. A total of 1,649, so just 42 points ahead of MZ. It was always a bit of a battle between it was Corey, Yield, Nitro, and CJ. We're all battling it out, sort of those positions. But his rarest trophy was, again, one that would have sort of increased over time, which was in Hogwarts Legacy at 3.22. But I suppose one thing that I've learned from is when people were achieving trophies in new games, the rarity was low. And I'd obviously overwritten what they'd previously. What I should do is keep a backup rarest trophy for anything off new games, because obviously, especially ones that are likely to increase over time. So because I'd overwritten it, I wasn't sure what is that's probably not his rarest that he had done over. So that's something I sort of will take on board for this year anyway. Yield made it into the top 10, and his rarest trophy was also the Platinum in Deep Rock Galactic. He had 1,678 points. So again, 3 of them finished within 100, within sort of 71 points of each other. He didn't earn a trophy in that final week, but he did manage to, as I said, finish on 678 overall and get into the top 10, which is, some achievement. CJ finished 9th. He's started to pick up some good scoring weeks. He had a good scoring week in the first week of the 2024 rarity, but he had 75 points in this final week of the 2023 version, giving him 1,814. So he sort of pulled away from the pack, the chasing pack there. His rarest trophy was an EA Sports Tour at 9.85%. Next was yourself, Daryl, in 8th.
Hey.
You had 23 points in the final week. You managed to break the 2,000 point. Yeah, so 2,134 overall. Rarest trophy was also enough to get you in the rarest trophies of the year as well, place, which was Valkyrie in Nidhogg.
Nice.
So, and you managed that. That was for winning 100 games through matchmaking. So that's quite great.
Now, real quick, before you go too far, I was thinking about this. I had my, I think that last stretch of hours before you turned it off,
Yeah.
I had my PlayStation offline. Did it count my Metal Gear trophies, or did they not even matter?
No.
They
were in. Yeah, the Metal Gear ones were in. Yeah.
Because I remember reading it, and I was like, "Oh, dang, I'm offline." Because what was happening was my kids were all trying to play Jackbox or something with their friends, and they needed to use my profile. Well, I just have the disc version of. This is why you stay physical, ladies and gentlemen. I had the disc version of Metal Gear, so I just went offline and let them use my profile, and I kept the disc in. So, but I never flipped it back over because they had friends over for the weekend. So I just didn't know. So, not that it mattered because I didn't get the platinum or anything. But.
No, is that something do you think you'll go for the platinum next time on that game?
I think I will. Originally I said I didn't know, but I did set up my save points so where I can jump back in and do various things that I need to.
Yeah.
For the so I think I will. It just really depends on how. If we were in GTTSC right now, I would do it.
Yeah.
Right now because it's fresh and I'm not like fumbling the controls again. So I don't know. Maybe I will. We'll see. But I feel I'm leaning more towards yes than no. There's 2 trophies that might make me not want to do it, but for the most part, everything else, most of what's left, I'm going to get. So if I don't get the platinum immediately, I'll definitely get 80-90% for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well that's they were always typically pretty difficult. Well, pretty grindy plats, aren't they? Sort of the Metal Gear ones. Certainly 4 and 5 have been. I've not with any, so I think 2 is as well on the Vita. But yeah, it's I'll get round to them at some point. Whether I'll platinum is another question.
They're fun to play, man. I just, even for the nostalgia of it, it's so fun to play. So I think that I would recommend anyone our age, especially who kind of maybe grew up with those games or started with those games, or I would just recommend playing them. They're so good. And they're so corny, but like in a good way.
Yeah, the dialogue and whatnot. Yeah, but it's part of the charm of them, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So where were we? So 6th and 7th place was that was quite interesting. Come towards the end because it was Diego finishing in 7th place and Alex finishing in 6th place, and there was only 20 points between them on 2858 and 2878, and they also both went for it because they both scored the 2 highest scores of the week, and still were only 4 points within each other of that. So Alex scored 132 points in the final week, and Diego scored 128 points. So they both went for it, and Alex sort of, thanks to the lead he'd already built up in the early part of the competition, was able to hold on to 6th spot. But as we know, Diego, he'll be a challenge this year for anybody. I think the way he sort of finished the back end of the year, and also I think he's started this year with the highest score as well. He's got a good chance of sort of taking the title for this year.
Yeah. We call those sweaty tryhards here in the States.
So yeah, I mean, his rarest trophy was the platinum in binary domain at 1.19%, but I think that doesn't, he had the 3rd highest number of ultra rare trophies overall in terms of increase. So he was, that's how he plays it. He'll play to completion, and it doesn't seem to matter how hard the game or challenges or how grindy it is or how many online trophies there are. He sets his mind to it. He'll platinum the game. Alex ended up scoring also. He had his rare trophy was 0.62%, so he finished actually in the top 5 rarest trophies of the year as well. 1 place above you in 3rd place, and only 0.1% difference. It's 0.63% for hitting NFL Blitz, his rarest trophy. And Yeah, so yeah, and he as I said he finished 2878. So a good effort there from Alex. I finished in fifth. I managed to just get over the 3,000 point mark. I had 64 in the final week. My rarest trophy was in a game called Hawken, which was 0.97%. It's a pretty easy game to boost, to be honest with you, for some ultra rare trophies. And me and Rick did it actually for the Rainers game, which was a Discord run game that over the course of back end of last year. So I finished on 3,025. I was 220 points behind Stylen, who again joined slightly late, but obviously the way he plays is different to anybody else. A lot of it was simulators and predominantly Train Sim World games. He had the highest number of ultra rare increase, 165 ultra rare increase on his total tally, which was that's 1,650 points alone in this competition just for his ultra rare.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so he smashed that, and a lot of the time his ultra rares would increase week on week, even without him playing, because of the DLC. All it would take is one extra person to buy another piece of DLC in the Train Sim World game, and then that would increase the rarity. And because there's not that many people who seem to buy all of the DLC, it has a bigger effect on the percentage on the rarity side of things. So it's not like, if you wanted to increase the rarity of Spider-Man 2, for example, you'd need thousands and thousands of people to do it. But because of Train Sim World, the DLC, when you look at on PSNP, there's only a handful, literally sometimes even single figure digits of people having it, and 8, 9, 10 owners. And if another 2 buy that, that's 20% difference, if 2 haven't achieved it. So that makes so he's obviously done well and scored well from that and taken 4th spot. Top 3 third was Redbeard Rick. He had 3,653 points. He had sort of tailed off towards the end of the year, and sort of limped over the line. It looked at one stage like it would be a 3-way battle for the top, but unfortunately that wasn't the case for him. But he'd already done enough in the early part of the year to sort of comfortably secure third place. There wasn't really any danger of him missing out on that. His rarest trophy came in Capcom Arcade Stadium, 0.69%, which brings us to the top 2. Both surpassed the 4,000 point mark, so that's a massive achievement for both of them in that. So in second was Mies Goats a lot. He increased by 65 points, getting to 4,194. A rarest trophy again in Capcom Arcade Stadium, same as Rick. And George led for a large part of the year, and he'd sort of exploited some game, Minecraft. I think there was the Sims 4 he did as well. So he'd built up a hefty lead at one stage, and then he sort of, I think, ran out of games that he could sort of boost or sort of get cheaper trophies, rarer trophies, and he fell in line. He still scored well because obviously he had to get to over 4,000 points, but ultimately where the difference was made was Marky Fraser, who came and took the title. He had 4,481, so in the end he won it by sort of 290 odd points. The difference being really the ultra rares. So he had 122 compared to George's 51. And he, those 700 odd points difference there, but just in the ultra rares, which is obviously where he gained his victory. A lot of the other stats are closer, because I think the ultra rares 187 to very rares 187 to 213 in favour of George, 550 to 500 in rares in favour of Fraser. George had almost double his amount of uncommon, so literally it comes down to the ultra rares. and that's where the points are if you can get them, and that's what people do. And which will well done to. I'll come on to 2024 in a moment, but obviously well done to Marky Fraser. Did really well to come back. I think he started the season quite slow and just ploughed through the field in the end. And once he took sort of top spot, there was no stopping him. He didn't. I don't think he dropped a position, that place, from once he sort of got into the lead. He sort of stayed there for the rest of the year, which was from about the summertime, I think it was. So, that's in a summary. That was the 2023 contest. The rarest trophies of the year. We could just touch on those. So MZ found his way into. I better put a caveat to the rarest trophies. If two people earned the same trophy, it was the person who earned it first made their. So what I didn't want to do is to have 5 trophies all the same, because people were able to sort of spam a cheaper trophy or whatever, So that's why Nitro made his way into the top 5, because he got the platinum in Deep Rock Galactic first before Yield did. Yourself in 4th place with Valkyrie and Nidhogg, which is 100 games through matchmaking. Alex in 3rd for NFL Blitz for Brains, which was ride the back of an on fire WR with the zombie fantasy character. So that sounds quite specific.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was the trophy, but I have that game.
Right. So, there we go. So you might be able to get a good 10 points on
this year.
Rick was 2nd for his Capcom Master, which was Reach Class 20 Capcom Master. And Marky Fraser did the double. He earned the rarest trophy of the year for The Hero We Deserve in Injustice Gods Among Men, which was reaching level 100. So
which is hard to do. Very hard to do.
So he's a worthy winner, shall we say, of both contests, both the league table and the rarest trophy of the year. So well done to Mark Fraser.
I plan on getting that trophy this year, but that's a lot. That's a heavy one. I keep, every time I turn it on, I go, I'm going to do that this year.
What, like the Arkham Knight one?
Yeah. Which I was very disappointed with myself the other day when I was like reading out the trophies that I was missing. Because in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, I don't have that many left. And then I pull up PSN profiles after I say that out loud. I'm like, wait a second. There's more. I'm missing way more than I thought I was. Not that it matters. Most of them, you get all at the same time because it's you have to get all those stupid Riddler trophies. But definitely.
And then, I think with the Arkham games, it's the takedown, the free flow takedowns that's always prevented me from doing the Arkham Asylum one and the Arkham City one. I just haven't got the patience to keep doing it over and over.
Yes.
To try it. So, but that's in a nutshell, that was 2023, and we actually kicked off 2024 quicker than what I thought I was going to. I sort of was probably going to leave it a week, but I managed to get things sorted and set up and organised how I wanted to organise it for this year. Sort of learned on a couple of things that worked well and things that I could improve from last year to this year. And I wanted to increase the number of sort of stats that I can, because it will make for a better and more interesting topic conversation. The more stats I've got, and it does actually take a team to compile them, to be honest with you. So have you had a chance to look at the new spreadsheet, as it were, for the 2020?
I did. Now I saw it before there was anything on it, so it was just the blank spreadsheet.
Yeah. So obviously there is. So for those that haven't to look at it yet, obviously I always post the link to the spreadsheet in the Trophy Looting group under any write up. It's pinned in the Discord channel on the Loot Bros Discord, and it's also pinned in the featured tab on the Trophy Looting group as well. So within that spreadsheet, there are 3 tabs along the bottom, which now anybody can access and check. So within there, you've got the tab 1 is now the divisions, and as you know, they've split from division. There was now a Division 1, Division 2, with a promotion and relegation feature, which so it's 6 months, and then the bottom 3 from the top division go down, the top 3 go up, and then we start the second part of the half of the year, and we'll just continue it like that. So the second page, I'm just trying to pull it. Just going to pull it up myself. There it is. The second tab is probably the most interesting one in terms of for individuals. What I'm tracking there is obviously the rarest trophy of the week for everybody, the rarest trophy of the year, the platinums earned by month. So on the left hand side, every time somebody earns a platinum, that will go into that column there. But that will be taken out each month, so it doesn't get too long. So when January comes, I'll delete that section, and the start of February and so on. I'm tracking for the year the number of platinums earned by each individual, which is on the right-hand side. So at the bottom, so at the moment you can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 6 platinums have been earned so far this year. I'm also tracking the number of times somebody makes it into the rarest trophies of the week. So obviously I can better sort of compile, see when people have made it for a first time, or it's their 50th time or whatever it is, to see who's the best achievers on that. And then there's a platinum of the month, which there'll be an award for that. So the person who has achieved that for each month will have the name against each of those months that's there. And that will be made up of the thing that I sampled, sent to you.
Right.
And that will go out sort of each month, really. And then there'll be a vote by players to decide what they think is the platinum of the month. And it doesn't have to be, as I said, the rarest. It doesn't have to be the longest. It doesn't have to be the grindiest. It doesn't have to be the hardest. It's about what you think as an individual is either most impressive, or I'd really like to add that one to my collection. Something that that appeals to you about why that would be platinum of the month. So we haven't just got a list of the rarest trophies or rarest platinums. And there are some good early contenders already for January. When you look at the list of platinums that we've already got this year, well, given that we're in the first week, is we've got Marvel's Midnight Suns, RoboCop Rogue City, Assassin's Creed Mirage, Red Dead Redemption 2, Vengeful Guardian Moonrider, which is one I've not heard of, and good old CJ with The Grinch Christmas Adventures. So, and then there's also a third tab which I added sort of afterwards, and anybody who wants now, and this will be good because the reason I added this third tab is because it will invoke conversation either at a midpoint or towards the end of the year, certainly maybe for you or any of the others, is that I'm keeping a list of all those platinums achieved by an individual over the whole course of the year. So if people wanted to look back and say, oh, well, what platinums did I get last year? All they have to do is go onto that sheet, go to their name, and there will be a list of all the platinums that you've done this year. So you've got the number and you've got the name of the game that you've got there. So just in one sort of easy, rather than, you don't have to go to PSNP to scroll through your platinums, and that is just there all on one sheet. So there's quite a lot there to take in. It's worth obviously checking. The divisions, I think they're easier to read this time because I've separated out the rarest trophy of the week and year for individuals, with the percentage rarity next to it. But yeah, I noticed obviously the bottom of that table is of Division 1 is the entire GTTSC team. It's me. Well, Rick is bottom. I'm in your third bottom. So.
I'm looking at it right now, and I was like,
that doesn't bode well. So
that's okay. We'll get it. We had We had a slow. We're going to say we had a slow start.
Yeah, and I thought I'd done all right because I knew that I'd earned an ultra rare trophy towards the on New Year's Day in that Angry Bird, but I lost five trophies that from my rare, which was 15 points, became sort of uncommon. So that was straight away a 10-point deficit. So I'd only earned sort of 7 points overall. When you look at Diego getting 95 points. George Misko got 78, and Joseph Priestley got 78 points as well. So he's fine. So there's some surprises in there. Alex is at their yields up there, and this is the reason when you look at the tables now. This is the reason that I introduced the 2 division tier. Is when you look at the points that have been scored, you can see, so the top point score in Division 2 was 41 points. Now, 41 points, if you were in Division 1, only gets you to 7th place out of 14. So the reason for doing it is obviously to offer up server competition for everybody feels sort of involved or isn't lagged behind. You look at that swing on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 people who only scored 6 figure digits in that too. So there's
I think your spreadsheet is amazing. I think the amount of detail and the amount of work you've put in this is absolutely incredible, Gareth. And I think that it really does encourage people to participate. I think that the stats, the breakdowns, all that stuff is very, very cool. And that's a lot of people involved. I mean, that's a good amount of people to go. And so the competition is what's exciting to me. Just kind of having that community. It's like, wow, man, I'm like looking at what these guys are doing. And I've got your spreadsheet brought up on one of my monitors.
Yeah.
And it just stays there. Like it's, so I've got like my spreadsheets for work, and then I've got this one just kind of up there. So,
and it can be used, so you can use the stats if, for when you want to do something on your backlog beatdown, there might be some stats there you can use to incorporate or to use on however you see fit as well. So, and we did get, there was 4 newcomers to the league, 3 of which came from the PlayStation UK community. That was the guy leading, Dodge Williams, Crook09, and Pee-wee ITFC. All those 3 came from the PlayStation UK community. Ifrit Hellfire, Kate was one of Darth Knight's mates who he'd recommended it to. So word sort of gets about. Obviously, it'd be difficult to do any more because obviously the more people you've got to work, it sort of takes. So it's obviously I've got to sort of cap it somewhere, and it's manageable at the moment. But that's 4 out of the 5 at the top of that Division 2 are all newcomers as well. So that's encouraging to see.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
And the cool thing is too, being that this is a little more competitive than probably some things out there, is that if there's a season where someone just isn't participating or isn't performing, hey, you're out and the next guy's in. So you could always, you could have your cap.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, that's right. And it's, but again, it's, I'm not expecting people to be the main focus. If people game how they want to game, and that's absolutely fine. If they score points, they score points. If you don't score, you don't score. It doesn't matter. It's I know that some people have said that they don't like the competitive element of it, and didn't want to be part of it. But it's for me, it's the I enjoy that aspect of it, and I enjoy the stat tracking, and I enjoy the seeing where the increase and knowing what I'm going to be doing with this, which is the reason we do those competitions in the first place, GTSC and various others. But the other thing to note is obviously is the common bonus points. So I am doing those. So that's a rarity of 50.01 and 80%, and it's a maximum of 10 trophies. So the good thing about that, why that's not too bad to keep track of, is I can look at that at any point in the week of somebody's trophy. Like CJ, who plays a lot of games each day and earns a lot of trophies each day. I could look, say, on a Wednesday, and if I can count 10 trophies that are sort of around the 60% mark, I can quickly nip on the spreadsheet and just put. I know he's already achieved those bonus points for that week. So,
right.
So I don't need. So I can. So things like that and adding the platinums in, I can do during the week, and which is what I did last week, and don't need to worry about it. And then it just breaks it up a bit rather than all in one hit. So I know Tricky had mentioned that he had some concerns about how it could be exploited.
Oh my gosh!
That was the reason I put the cap on the common trophies, to be honest with you, so it couldn't be exploited, to be honest with you. And the worst case scenario is somebody earns an extra. It's a maximum of 5 points. It's capped at 5 points. So those 5 points aren't going to make much of a difference to anybody realistically over a course of half a year. So, I'm not too worried about that. If it, and what I don't know why you would exploit it, because there's nothing. We're not talking people earning thousands of dollars or thousands of pounds or even anything really. There's nothing to exploit it for. There's no purpose or benefit really to do it. It's just a bit of fun to have whilst you're gaming. So, but everyone knows what he's like. He looks for an angle. And,
oh my gosh! He spends more time looking for any sort of crack in a game than playing, and it's like, hey man, you could have earned those bonus points in the time you took to come with that, but. That's why we love Tricky, because he always needs concessions and there's always exceptions.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, that's the crux of it. And obviously, I hope everyone enjoys it. If they've got any questions, then obviously feel free to ask away. Recommendations. I know that some people, but bear in mind, because I've had some people have asked for various things, but you've got to bear in mind the time element. I work full time. I've got a family and other commitments with other things, so it's difficult to try and fit everything in. So
right.
But like I said, I'll do what I can, but yeah, everything that I'm doing at the moment is achievable in terms of timing. So yeah, we'll keep it going. This season will finish the end of June. So have that date. It'll be literally the last week of June is when the current season will finish. So anybody listening, bear that in mind. You'll see, and then each month, as I said to Daryl, there's going to be a vote for the Platinum of the Month, which I'm sort of creating something to highlight those people who've earned Platinums in each of those months, and that'll come out. At the end, towards the end, or at the end, probably.
Heck yeah. And then what we'll do is, you and I have been talking kind of off the mic about getting together, weekly, bi-weekly, as many times of a month as we can.
Yeah.
And not to just talk about this, but we will definitely cover it, throughout the year. But we're going to talk games. We're going to talk shop. We're going to, just kind of collaborate and have a good time.
Yeah.
But when those third trivia of the months come up, we can have, a little segment on the show. So, hey, this is the Platinum of the Month. So that's gonna be cool, man. So I really appreciate all the work you've put into this. I think it's above and beyond awesome. So, and I am currently working on my bonus points for common trophies.
Yeah, make sure they're below 8. It's a surprise. I tell you what, when having looked at that of those trophies, having looked, when I've been calculating them for everybody last week, I did it on Saturday evening was when I did the update, and the amount of people that missed out, not for any fault, they don't know, but couldn't believe the amount of trophies that were at like 80.02 or 80.07 or something like that, so close to sort of, but not quite. The reason where Tricky might think it could be exploited is it all depends on the time that I take that
right
common. But there has to be a cut-off somewhere, do you know what I mean? So it has to be. What I'll try and do is all the bonus points at one single time. Where I said with CJ, I can look. I know that if they're in their 60s, I know that there's not going to be enough of a swing either way, below to 50 or above 80 in the space of a couple of days, that it's going to change. If there is something that's on the cusp of going from, say it was on 51%, I would probably not count that one until the very end of the week in case that changes, because that could then count as a 1 point rather than I don't want to count it twice, you see. So,
right.
But, yeah, so it's just a case. Yeah, so that's where, as I said, you've got to be aware of what trophies you're going for. But like I said, there isn't much of an exploitation. I've got to have a marker somewhere. I can't for sort of decay. I can't go back to a trophy in case it's increased its rarity or decreased it. I just don't. It'd be impossible to track that. So it's literally I've got to say, here's the cutoff. This is when I'm going to be taking it. And because I can't give because of time constraints and other commitments, I can't say I do the update at 3 o'clock every Saturday afternoon. It's just impossible to do. I do it when I do it, but it's the same for everybody, and that's just what they've got to accept.
Yep, and that's the beauty of it. It's a bonus. You don't rely on a bonus.
Yeah.
You don't rely on a bonus with your own income. It is in fact a bonus.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
That's awesome. Well, guys, hey, I won't keep you too much longer. I know we both have to go back to work, but I did want to end it real quick with a recommendation. This is something in 2024 I'm going to do more and more of. It's something I started doing as a segment on the Patreon content. And then now, we're always kind of tossing things back and forth to each other in our messaging groups and stuff. And one of the things that you have inspired me to do more is get back into watching more films. I love movies and I love good films. And I don't know if I've ever said this to you specifically, but we owned what we called a video rental store.
Yeah.
Growing up, we had movies, we had games, we had all kinds of stuff in there. And I grew up with that. So like putting in a movie or a film before I go to bed, watching the latest, greatest, whatever. I grew up very much in that. And then when I got married, my wife doesn't like watching movies. So I've really over the years trailed off and fallen out. So these past few weeks, I've tried to, 1 or 2 films a week. You just kind of like, she goes to bed before I do, and I stayed up last night and I watched a film on Netflix called Triple Frontier. Have you ever heard of that one?
I've watched it. Yeah,
that was good. That was really good. I really enjoyed that. I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan, as you all know, and I was kind of between 3 or 4 movies last night, and I saw that Pedro Pascal was in it, and Charlie Hunnam. I think is how you say his last name.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I like all those dudes. Let's go. And it definitely did not turn out the way I expected. And I was like, you know what? That was good. I enjoyed it. So Netflix, Triple Frontier. So it's a good one.
Yeah, no, I would second that. It was, I enjoyed it as well. And I was looking, I track my films. I don't know if you do as well, but I record them on an app every time I've watched it. And the app's called Letterboxd. Only because I get through when I'm flicking through Netflix or Amazon Prime or Disney Plus, whatever it might be. The amount of times that I find myself thinking, have I watched that or not? And I'll tell you there's 2 examples that I'm not sure that, because I don't want to necessarily rewatch, that I was looking through. One of them is The Conjuring, and all the spin-offs in that. I can't remember how far I am into watching The Conjuring, because I think there's 3, isn't there? And maybe even more.
So there's 3 main films, but I think there's 7 or 8 total in that Conjuring universe.
Yeah, and I can't remember which one. Because The Nun is part of that, I think, as well, isn't it?
I think so.
I can't remember. And the other one is the because I was on Disney Plus looking at it on Saturday, looking for something to watch. Is X-Men. All of those Days of Future Past, and they all merge into one up to a point, and I can't remember where I am with it. So that's why I now use this app to Letterboxd to record my the films that I watch. And as I said, it just helps with knowing, especially like there's so many films. Choosing a film now I spend as much time trying to choose a film,
yes,
watching it, and what I find myself doing is not watching some real. I go through all these films that I've not watched the Top Gun Maverick film yet because I know I really want to watch it as well, but I keep going through. Do I want to watch it? And I think because when I've watched it, then it means that I don't have the anticipation of watching it. I know that sounds weird, but
I get it.
And then I end up watching some film I've never heard of before, and then ticking that one off the list. But so for me, Saturday I ended up watching a film called The Kingsman, which was the third one in the series, which was pretty good. Not quite as good as the first one, but yeah, I enjoyed it. But I watched quite a lot of films over Christmas, actually. Well, over December, and some older ones, and as well as some of the newer ones. Have you watched I think it's called Leave the World Behind, which is the new one on Netflix?
I have not.
It's definitely worth watching. It came out in December, and it's set in America, as most are, but it's well worth watching. I don't want to give too much away about it, but it's internet goes down, things start happening, but obviously it's all about the reasons as to why. It's quite scary, actually, that it's a way that it could be that could go, so it's definitely worth watching.
I actually just downloaded that app, Letterboxd, and I am going through as we speak, and I'm rating a bunch of movies that I've seen.
Yeah, and the good thing is that you can add people on there, so you can have friends, so you can see what they're watching as well and see their reviews on it as well. So it's definitely worth looking at and seeing, and then you can see what other people have watched and get recommendations from that as well, depending on how they've rated it.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, then we'll do this, and this will be a good way for us to kind of recommend things back and forth. So, yeah, Gareth, thank you so much for your time, man. It is always a good time talking to you. When I told my wife that me and you are going to be doing this, she was very excited for us. And so,
hopefully, I say not too long, but as I said to you already, we're planning our trip to Florida, 2026. So it'd be good if you can get out there as well.
We will 100% be there.
And catch up with you and the family. And
absolutely,
it'd be obviously a great time last time.
Yes,
and looking forward to getting back there.
It's gonna be good. So, all right, thank you guys so much for listening. This has been the Lit Roast Podcast, and always remember, anime is for pervs.
See you later.
You are here because the outside world rejects you. This is your family. I am your father.
Who was staring back at you? You wish the image was clearer. Always remember who you are. you don't remember who you are, just think about the cross. I'm at a loss to know that we have come so far, but half of us don't even have a clue who we are. You were chose to live a life that you take for granted, yet you still wonder why you come up empty-handed. A seed is planted, you don't water it, you let it die. You curse what God has given you by living out a lie. I'm sick and tired of watching all the blind lead the blind. With closed eyes you'll never get to see God's design. It's tough love, but you were meant to live for more than this. He gave us everlasting life, we killed him with a kiss. What do you see when you look in the mirror? When staring back at you, you wish the image was clearer. Always remember who you are. Why would you stop now when you come this far? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Who was staring back at you, you wish the image was clearer. In a life this hard, you've come so far. Remember who you are, remember who you are. The world's cold, but that don't mean that's what you have to be. Don't sacrifice yourself to be another